We've done spells, incantations, and the Ashes of War. Now it's time for weapons. So here's a list of all kinds of weapons. Big fists, big swords, little swords, and some fingers? I don't know what that is, but let's go. Let me know in the comments your favorite weapons. I also guarantee that I haven't found them all, so do help me out and help each other out by commenting your favorite weapons and where to find them. I've tried to focus on weapons that can be found around the mid-game section and earlier. If you'd like an end-game version of this video, let me know in the comments below as well. We'll start off with everyone's favorite katana, the Moonveil. The Moonveil is really, its strength comes from its weapon skill, the Transient Moonlight, which allows you to do a magical version of Unsheath. If you do press the button and do a light attack, you will do like a medium range wave in front of you that can hit multiple enemies, and a heavy attack will do a vertical wave that will pretty much just hit the one enemy in front of you. This drops from the magma worm found in the Gale Tunnel in Caelid. This is a fantastic weapon that does have some interscaling on it, so if you are running an intelligence build and looking for a weapon to use, this is a perfect weapon to use. Next, let's talk about that weird fisty thing, the Cypher Pata. I don't even know if I'm saying that right.
Patrick, that's a
Cypher Pata.
Yes.
This does holy damage, which is really rare for most of the weapons in the game. The weapon skill here is Unblockable Blade, which propels the player forward approximately a couple of meters. And this is a great pure faith weapon, as it only scales with faith, and it can be two-handed. It's a fist weapon. It's one of the weirder, wackier weapons in the game, and you can actually get this as soon as you unlock the Round Table Hold. It's found in the side room from where you fight the Mad Tongue Alberich guy. When you jump down, there's a room there where you can find this if you're looking for like a faith weapon for a faith build to run in the early stages of the game. Next is also a faith weapon, and that is the best scythe that I have found, and that's the Winged Scythe. And this has a really good Ash of War on it in the Angel Wings, where you leap forward and damage the enemy in front. It does decent stagger. It hits enemies as you jump and as you land. It does blood loss buildup. It's got perfect things on it for a faith build if you're looking to make a kind of hybrid faith build with maybe a little bit of strength and dex. This is found in the Tombwood Ruins. In the center of these ruins, there's some stairs. You can jump down here and go and grab this scythe from there. You can get this super early on, but it does have a little bit of high requirements to use it, so it may take you a little bit, but it has some really good faith scaling with a little bit of dex and strength as well, so it's a decent weapon to pick up. The little swords are next, being daggers, and I am going to go with Reduvia here. I was considering going with the Black Knife because it's probably the best dagger in the game because of its Ash of War, but you can't get it until like you're 70%-ish through the game, so it doesn't really fit with the style of this video. But the Reduvia is probably the best for a dagger build. It causes blood loss, has the Reduvia Blood Blade effect on it, which is a really decent Ash of War, which is unique to the weapon, and you can get this like at the start of the game, really. You know, it comes from the Bloody Finger Naru just in Limgrave. It's east of the Dragon Burnt Ruins. It's very easy to get. You just beat the Bloody Finger there and you'll get this weapon. Bloodhound's Fang, the curved greatsword that is super OP, and I'm surprised hasn't actually been nerfed. This weapon has a very strong Ash of War called Bloodhound's Finesse. Now, when you press this Ash of War, you'll do a swipe forward and then like do the dodge animation backwards, but you can actually follow this up with another heavy attack and go back forwards and deal more damage again. So this is a great weapon for its Ash of War. It also has a very strong base attack. It's very versatile. It's a heavier dex weapon. That a lot of the heavier weapons are strength based, whereas this is dex. One of the real benefits of this sword actually is that you can buff it with greases and enchantments, which is very rare for unique weapons like this. A lot of the unique weapons, you can't buff them with greases or enchantments, whereas this one you can. You get this from the Bloodhound Knight in the Limgrave Evergale, which is a very hard fight if you go here at the start of the game, but if you can beat this guy, grab this weapon, you're going to have a great time. We've talked a little swords, now let's talk the biggest swords, and that is the best colossal sword, and that's the Grafted Blade Greatsword. This has a high attack straight out the gate, but the kicker here is the strength requirement in order to just use this weapon. So once you do hit that mark, you should be fine. You can upgrade this weapon. But the Oath of Vengeance Ash of War increases your poise. It's a really good weapon for those colossal builds if you're looking to wield something that is super heavy. And this comes from the Leone Misgotten boss in the Castle Morn down at the bottom of the Weeping Peninsula. Next is the best straight sword, and I think everyone knows what this weapon is. It is the Sword of Night and Flame. You've probably heard about this weapon. It does physical damage. It also does magic damage, and it does fire damage. It has the Night and Flame stance Ash of War, and depending on whether you light and heavy attack, it will either do magic or fire damage. And the reason that this sword is hard to get in a lot of cases is because of its int and faith cost. This is probably one of the only weapons in the game that has such a high int and faith cost for both int and faith. It does strength, dex, intelligence, and faith. And this comes from Carrion Manor. It's in a locked room behind the gardens on the east side side of the manor. You have to get here from the walkways, but there isn't too much to say about this weapon. Everyone knows why it's so good, so we can move on to the best bow, and that is the horn bow. This bow does physical and magic damage. It's essentially a longbow. I think the cast animation is a little bit quicker, but it does do the extra magic damage and physical damage. And with the most recent patch, it now also scales with intelligence. So if you're looking for maybe making some kind of a build with the moon veil and a bow to use with that, you could scale it with this horn bow, and then you've got a intelligence scaling dex weapon in the melee weapon, and then an intelligence scaling dex weapon in a rage weapon being the horn bow. So there's really good synergies there. This is found on a corpse in the Sophria Rivers under the stairs near the Hallowhorn grounds. You can go and grab this pretty early in the game, but just be careful when you go down there if you go down there very quickly. And the next is the staff. Now, the best staff pretty much until the end game is the meteorite staff, but the fact with this staff is you don't need to upgrade it at all. It just comes with S scaling for intelligence straight out of the gate. If you're using any of the rock spells like Rock Sling, it will be great, or gravity spells as they're actually called. But I'm like 60 hours into the game with my mage build, and I'm still using this staff because it is just so good, and you don't have to upgrade it at all. You just go and pick this bad boy up from Caelid. It's near the street of Sage Ruins. It's on a corpse hanging on a ledge there. You just go pick this bad boy up, and you're gonna have such a good time with staffs, really. Like, you only need this. Next, we'll talk about seals, the other side of casting. And the thing with seals is there isn't really one specific seal. Seals are a little different in that each seal gives you benefits to specific schools of incantations, which is the same for staffs, except there isn't a meteorite staff version of the seals. The best is probably the Godslayer's seal, which when you upgrade it, you get S faith scaling, and it's probably the best all around that you can get early on. This seal is found in Stormvale Castle in a small room with the rats. You've just got to use the imp statue to unlock it, and you can grab it from there. But there's plenty of options like the Clawmark seal, which it boosts your beast incantations, the Dragon Communion seal, which boosts your dragon incantations. Really, it depends on the incantations you're using, but as generally, the Godslayer seal is probably the best to go for. Let me know in the comments down below your favorite weapons. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.